video is brought to you by Letsynthesize Academy, the #1 place for practice-oriented courses for serious music producers.
Hey, Larson here, welcome to the newest Synthesize Sunday episode, and today I want to show you how KOAN Sound make their awesome neuro basses like this. So to be fair, this bass comes from the guys because they uploaded the project file on the Patreon, and I analyzed it and found a very cool sound and found that, okay, this is very good, but way too complicated. So let me show you what I mean. Let's jump into it. Okay, so I forgot to tell you that I have an academy for start to finish courses where you can learn a lot about music production. Check here. And if you want to grab this rack, check my Patreon also. Okay, once again, here is the sound itself. How awesome is this? Alright, so this is the original sound from KOAN Sound. And I like this because it is stable. You know, it doesn't matter how many times I play this clip. It always sounds the same. It is really cool, but look, here is the problem. Boom. Lots of automation channels. It's basically impossible to understand what is going on here. And if you want to change something that sounds cool, you know, it would take a lot of time to figure out what to do and how to change it. These guys are genius, but for me it's just too complicated. Let's just go through what they did here. So they have 3 layers, and I really love this concept because the main sound is a sample in simpler that is mono. So let me show it to you. It's completely mono, but they used different sounds to make the stereo width on the sound. An operator, it's basically just a simple saw with some EQing to chop off the lows and use only the mids and the highs. And the noise, basically distorted noise, again very wide, and I really love this method. And altogether I love it. So the fundamental of the sound is mono and very strong, but it has very nice side sounds, side informations. Okay, so what they did is use a sample that sounds like this. It looks like a filtered and very heavily distorted waveform, whatever it can be, like a square or a saw, I don't know. But you know, it's almost a simple sound. And they tweaked the sample start and they modulated lots of things here. But the main thing here, I guess, is the sample position and the filtering. Okay, so here comes the hard part. Alright, there is this rack where they split up the frequency into different bands, as you can see, using EQ8, and applied different effects like OTTs, saturation, whatever. Very nice little things. Here comes the first nightmare. This is the first modulation rack. As you can see, they are using low-pass filtering with different resonance that creates a very nice movement to the sound on both of the channels, basically. On the top band and on the low band. So this is the first thing, and actually the sample position, that we had to automate and not penciling it manually. That is a nightmare. Here comes the second. They have an equalizer, a trash, and after the whole rack, so what we just discovered processed only the sample, so the main sound and not the side sounds. And this rack basically modulates the whole thing, so together with the fundamental sound and the noise. That is very smart actually, because if we don't do that, you clearly hear that there is separate sounds are playing together, like the fundamental bass and the side noises. Let me show it to you without that. So it's cool, but we still need something that adds a common process to it. And actually this is very smart again, playing on both of the channels, I mean on the low band and on the top band. Very cool. So this is again something that we had to automate, then another trash and a limiter to the end. So as you can see, on the main sound, on the fundamental sound, they are using several modulations, several filtering sections after the multiband process, and a whole bunch of distortion using trash too. I was like, this is really cool, but what if we can do it in a lot simpler way and not using sample but Serum? So this is what I came up with. I'm using Serum and I kept the noise side informations. So basically the noise is the same, but with Serum what I did is just chose a wavetable with a sub and this band reject filter modulated by 2 LFOs. As you can see, the cutoff is modulated by LFO 1 and the width is modulated by LFO 2. And this is all I did here except the unison voices. Serum sounds like this. Pretty dumb sound. And basically the modulations and the process is the same. As you can see, I kept the multiband process, I kept the filtering things on the main sound, that is Serum this time, and on the process with the noises and etc. But I'm using built-in LFOs that basically just, modulates the destinations in a randomized way. So for example, the first one is MR EQ8 HB, which means Modulation Rack 1 EQ8 high pass filter. So this is Modulation Rack 1 and this is the high pass that I messed up. It should have called low pass, but never mind. This is what drags it up. So if you tweak the first macro, it is starting moving a lot faster. And this is so cool because this way you can create different sounds by changing the Serum preset and just tweaking these knobs and etc. Modulation Rack 2. So MR1 represents Modulation Rack 1, this thing, and MR represents Modulation Rack 2. Everything is labeled in a really clean way. This is the rack, so you just play one note on your keyboard or start playing with the pitch bend. And your only job is to resample this thing and start playing with it as a sample again. That for me is a lot more convenient than adding tons of modulation track to a MIDI instrument. And here are your sounds that you can play Lego with, basically. And by the way, KOAN Sound does the same because they had several tracks from resampled basses and not only this hella confusing with lots of modulation track, sampler kind of things. And the cool part here is always that you can go back, change the Serum preset, like changing wavetable. It's already a whole different sound, just playing with the warping mode. And it is always a little different sound. Okay, so once again, go here if you want to learn more about music production and see you guys next time. Peace.